And we are back with some brilliant frugal living, talking about this beautiful, absolutely lovely wedding that Victor and I went to week before last for a dear friend's daughter. We had such a great time. It was just so classy from start to finish. And you know the way my mind works. I just look around and I see the cha-ching and I see where they saved money and where they invested money and where they, what their goals were at the wedding. It was just charming from start to finish. You've got a lot of people out there. You've got, in my opinion, wedding rates are rising. I think we got a lot of people out there who are feeling better about the economy. They're putting less things on hold. They're getting married. Mazel tov. I love it all. But they have this idea, and I think there's always going to be an idea out there that weddings have to cost huge buckage, and that's just not the case. And especially in this day and age where you've got so many kids of all ages getting married, anytime, between 21 and 121 years old, I call them all kids getting married. They have debt. There are very few people out there getting married who have zero debt. You've got debt already. I don't want to see you add to it to live up to some sort of unrealistic, undoable expectation that everything has to be a royal wedding. It's absurd, it's ridiculous, and it's breaking our wallets. So we're talking today about ways to pull off this phenomenal, gorgeous wedding for less. And there is so much to go over that honestly, we might have to do an extra week's worth of segments on this. We talked before about the alcohol. We talked about the cake. I want to talk about the venue for a second. This wedding that we went to, it was at a beautiful church, Catholic ceremony. I can't tell you the last time I went to a wedding that had a Catholic mass in it. You just don't see that very often anymore. You've got wonderful couples of multi-faiths getting, engaged and getting together, and that's beautiful too. So many beautiful ceremonies. So I had not been to a Catholic mass ceremony in a Catholic church in some time. One of the things I noticed is that they have most churches, any faith, synagogues, churches, have got these wonderful social centers nearby where you can have wonderful, get-togethers and parties and celebrations and stuff. People have forgotten that they can have their wonderful after-wedding, the reception or some sort of get-together afterwards. They're on site at your synagogue, at your church, at your local centers, wherever you want to get this done. And they think it's kind of passé. Oh, no, that's not for me. I'm going to go to some hotel or some venue, wherever. I got to reiterate this. I can't say this enough. It's your money. It's your wedding. Go wherever you want to. But I want you guys to think for a second. What happened at this wedding we were at, beautiful, beautiful ceremony, Catholic church. And then that was at like 11 a.m. So we wrapped up around noon. Then they had their pictures, which is great. And while they did that, we kind of scattered to the four winds because the reception was not until 5 o'clock that night, which can sometimes put a bit of a hitch in your giddy up when you're thinking about travel and thinking about kids you have back home, or if the kids are with you, what do you do with them in the meantime? Think about how having your wedding in a church or a synagogue and then simply having every one of your beloved guests stay right there on site. You don't have to move the car. You don't have to move the kids. You don't have to think what you're doing to kill time, and send them right to the nearby building there on site that was built for these celebrations. Now, Victor and I go to a great church. We don't go as often as we should, but we love it. It's great. And it's got this huge new celebration center built with my cash, I might add. We have a wonderful congregation. We're super tight. And this is all with, people who go to this church with us. We all dug in for this. It's all from donations. What about the great sort of feeling deep in your bones of sticking with the church of the groom or the bride? If you're really lucky, it's both of them belong to the same church or the same synagogue, and having your ceremony there, and then letting all of your guests immediately enjoy themselves in the building next door. Talk about something, and I'm here to tell you something. That is going to lead to your guests having a better time. You put less on their plate with regards to how they have to kill time, how they have to drive somewhere, how we now have to go a half hour out of our way to find the reception site. You're happy to do it, of course. You're not going to get kvetchy about it. But there's this small little inkling that's going to go on in your guest's mind when you make it so effortless for them that you're going to have the ceremony in the church and you let them go enjoy themselves with a beverage. It's nice and cool in the summer. It's nice and warm in the winter. You don't have to drive somewhere. And your reception immediately takes place right after the ceremony. Now, there are pictures to be taken, everything else. So while you're doing that, You're feeding your guests, stick with me. You have your guests stick next to the building near you. It's beautifully decorated. It's lovely. It's got a link to the past. It's got a link to the families getting married. You're right there on the church site. You're feeding them appetizers. You're, letting them get, unwind a little bit, maybe some nice music while everybody's getting their picture taken. I have heard more than once, think long and hard about getting the pictures taken before the ceremony. And now, having been happily married to the man of my dreams over 2 decades now, there is some merit to this. Not because we would need it for my husband's sake, but because I was a bit of a blubbering slob partway through my ceremony, okay? It was such a beautiful day. I loved it. Got a little weepy. Other people in my crowd got weepy too. My mom, we're all over the place. My sisters, oh my God, we were a mess. So you got to clean up, a little bit afterwards to get ready for the pictures. Imagine if you have your pictures before the ceremony. Not only is everybody looking brand spanking out of the box beautiful, but you get that done, and that way when your ceremony is complete, everybody's going to the reception site, including the bride and the groom and the groomsmen and the bridesmaids. You're all walking over there together, and you're getting a reception done even more promptly and quickly. It shows a respect for your guests. Don't get me wrong. The day is all about the bride and the groom and their families. It is a wonderful celebration. We also live in some crazy, hectic, too many things smushed into our daytimes. And if you have, stick with me here, think about the time and the sanity and the money saved. If today's brides and grooms get married in their church or synagogue, have a lovely, gorgeous, amazing reception set up in their same attached building to their synagogue or their church, be the groundbreaker on this. Bring this trend back. The money saved for your guests, the time saved for your guests, and the huge ripple effect cha-ching when you get your pictures taken right there before the ceremony. You have the ceremony at your church or synagogue. You have your reception immediately afterwards. Something that I didn't think about, you eliminate your cocktail hour. Did you know the whole idea of the cocktail hour is to kill time to let the bride and groom get their pictures taken while you guys are trying to amuse yourselves? So they put on a cocktail hour. The bride and groom don't get to be part of the cocktail hour. They show up for dinner. Try doing the pictures ahead of time. Do your wonderful, beautiful ceremony right there at the church or synagogue, obviously. And then do your amazing, over-the-top, incredible, gorgeous, amazing, couldn't be done better anywhere else, reception right there on site as well. No one has to move their cars. No one has to add hours to their day. Think about how that might, and don't just think it's all about saving money. Think about how that might translate into the generosity of your guests when they're writing out all of those "we're so happy for you" checks. Oh my God, they didn't make us drive 50 miles between the church and the reception site. I don't have to rent a hotel. I don't have to, find something to do with the kids. Let's put an extra 50 in here. It will benefit everybody involved. I am here to tell you. I'm getting a little off target here. I have got 100 pages printed out of stuff sent for me from people here. So think about eliminating the bar. Not even do a cash bar. I'm deadly serious. We live in a day and age where people just overindulge. If they think they're going to find something for free, it's like those, I don't care what these personalities were like before the wedding started. I saw personalities that I've known for decades go absolutely ape crackers at an open bar. It was so deeply, bitterly disappointing. And that can all be avoided. And the people who do not engage in that kind of behavior will understand because they have eyes in their head as well. And they realize when push comes to shove, this day is about you. They'll go to the open bar, air quotes bar, and enjoy 25 different types of refreshing, incredible beverages. If they want to go out to the car and engage in a little bit of something, that's fine too. Here's another money saver. You might save some serious money with your caterer. If you don't have alcohol at this place, between insurance, between everything else, think about it. Think about the ripple effects and how this is going to help. I have to touch on this next one. Every wedding I've been to, when I got married in 95, I had 3 bridesmaids. I had my maid of honor, my BFF, Belle Ann, and my 2 sisters. 3 total. I have now, ever since then, every wedding I've been to, I'm talking, and this one a couple of weekends ago, 9 Bridesmaids. Remember when that used to be a joke? Remember in Steel Magnolias when she was joking she had 9 bridesmaids? That's like the new median. That's the new median for bridesmaids and groomsmen. It's insane. Not only could you think about throttling back on that, and if you can't, I want you guys to think long and hard about letting the guys just wear their own suits. Everybody still has a suit in this day and age. A nice dark suit. Do a Johnny Cash. Everybody go with the dark suits. And ladies, either find yourself a beautiful suit that you can wear again later, or think long and hard about just finding something that kind of matchy-matchy, not an evening dress, like a cocktail dress type thing. I've seen that done so many times, and it's dresses that they'll wear over again. It's dresses that they will be comfortable in. I've seen 2 bridesmaids trip over their bridesmaids' dresses going down the aisle. You don't wish that on anybody. And when it comes to the fabulous, beautiful wedding dress for the bride, some amazing tips. 90% off right after this.
She